In this fourth module of the ODF Overview course, we will be looking at the rationale and challenges that led the TM Forum members to develop ODF and ODA. This module discusses the business drivers, vision and principles of ODF with a specific focus on ODA. The objective of this module is to describe at high level the elements of the ODA architectural vision, the principles and the functional architecture, discuss the vision and drivers and principles behind the ODA. As described in an earlier module, work done in the frameworks, which was the predecessor to ODF, focused on setting standards. With ODF and ODA, this widens with architectural principles to serve as a reference architecture. Here is TM Forum's CEO Nick Willits describing some of the digital transformation challenges that operators are and will be facing.
The communications industry has been on a familiar pattern for the last 4 decades. We're used to inventing a new technology and finding an almost unstoppable market that wants to receive it through increasingly sophisticated consumer devices. But we're approaching a critical turning point in our industry's history, a point where the very product that we have created and profited from so widely is becoming the commodity of the digital world. That commodity is forcing us to rethink the business models and the way that we work today, but it's also created a new type of competition, a competition that we see from hyperscale internet companies who can invest dramatically more than us in R&D. And all of this causes us to rethink the way in which our companies work and the way in which we are starting to operate. It's not all bad news. We can see opportunity on the horizon. The opportunity in 5G of just under 600 billion in additional revenues, and further examples we can see of up to $1 trillion in additional profit over the next decade are going to come from radically rethinking the way in which we serve our customers. And that change in how we serve our customers needs to start with us as an industry, going from selling the same product in many different guises to different people to rethinking our very relationship with our customers. And that means rethinking the way in which we run IT and operations, but also the flexibility and agility we give to our businesses. So many of these opportunities rely on being able to dramatically rethink the way in which we invent and innovate with new products, and do so in partnership with others. Think about smart cities or the complexity of a healthcare ecosystem and how that needs to evolve. That won't happen just with providing a simple deal. It's going to be a long-term partnership for us. So much of that growth has been attached to the concept of 5G, yet another generation on the surface level of just technology. But 5G has to mean so much more than that. It has to mean the very transformation of our business and the way it works. We see that transformation happening along 2 planes. The first is, of course, the drive for efficiency. We've been enjoying unstoppable growth for so many years. It's inevitable that we have to look at how we can automate as far as we can, not just in technology operations, but our business operations to serve our customers better and operate at a profitable cost point. But we need to also think about how our role is expanding into new blue ocean opportunities that allow us to seize what we describe as the digital partnership opportunity. One where we go beyond connectivity and into a world where we are starting to deliver a new kind of service in partnership with others. That means dramatic change in IT and operations within our business. And so much of the energy in the industry right now is focused on repeating what we've done before, just inventing a new technology. To get to and unlock the opportunity in front of us, we need to look carefully at the way in which our companies run and really rethink the role of IT and the leadership that it requires to get there. Now, TM Forum has surveyed a broad spectrum across the industry to understand the challenges of transformation. The destination is increasingly clearer, but the path to get there isn't. And there's so many challenges along the way, and that's why we can see that True transformation demands a coordinated plan of attack across the business, not just looking at technology or the customer, but also looking at how we serve that customer, how we deliver a radically different kind of agility in our business with a new strategy, new leadership, a new kind of organisation structure.
Based on information from Accenture, Ericsson and Arthur D. Little, there was a 66% growth in mobile data, but CSP's profits down 15% based on the legacy business models. If this has been seen across the industry, CSPs will need to look to change their business models of the future. In a very rigid way, it could be viewed that a CSP has two major options. 1. Move the X-axis only, focusing on existing markets, providing continual improvements in connectivity and content, looking to improve better efficiency, deliver existing services and a better customer experience. This is sometimes referred to as red ocean battlegrounds. 2. Or, along the Y-axis, we consider establishing new entities to innovate in digital enablement, creating new business opportunities and possibly new markets, either with limited competition or very different competitors, many of which will be enabled by 5G, IoT, etc. However, most CSPs are looking to find an approach that combines both approaches and makes some form of transition from their traditional business in the bottom left towards somewhere in the top right. Next, we will look at the ODF and ODA vision and the role of componentization. Perhaps the easiest way to begin to understand the ODA vision is to look at the key differences between the systems communication service providers, or CSPs, have used for many years and the systems described by ODA. Traditionally, CSPs had a physical network and a set of systems that managed them. These were divided into the systems that managed the network and the services delivered by it, called the Operations Support System, or OSS, and systems that managed the customers and products, called the Business Support Systems, or BSS. Typically, there were separate systems for particular market segments, so the consumer and retail BSS systems would often be very separate to the systems used for, say, enterprise customers. In some cases, there were even product-specific systems. Most of these systems had as a design assumption that they would be operated by people, usually agents in call centres or retail stores, as this was the normal method of customer interaction. They also had a design assumption that the business was primarily offering telecommunications services delivered by its own network. This led to systems that, whilst they were very efficient at what they did, they had very little flexibility and seriously held back business agility. Creation of new products or bundles often required significant software changes to multiple systems. ODA is designed to address the needs of a digital service provider, or DSP, operating in an agile way as described at the beginning of this course. In this environment, several of the business assumptions that were perfectly valid in the past are no longer true. Fundamental to the approach of ODA is the concept of zero-touch. Zero-touch integration. New products or services can be supported in the system without manual changes. Clearly, this reduces both the time and cost in introducing a new service. Zero-touch operations. Customers self-serve through web portals, and the changes made to their products or plans must be reflected without human intervention. This concept also enables automation. For example, as demand increases, it is possible to provision additional capacity without human intervention. Zero-touch partnering. Increasingly, DSPs are offering services provided by partners, such as music streaming services, and these need to be provisioned and configured without manual intervention from either partner. And again, this dramatically reduces the cost and time required to bring these services to market. Zero Touch is supported by a variety of technical solutions such as virtualized networks, cloud-based environments, and AI-enabled real-time operations. Componentization is a key part of the ODA vision. Rather than applications being built as a monolithic block, they are broken down into reusable components. The concept of reusability is key. A component that performs a business function, such as service activation, should be reused wherever that function is required, rather than building duplicate functionality. We'll learn more about components later in the course. The ODA vision also lays out the top-level business drivers or requirements for the architecture. There are more detailed business requirements encapsulated in the principles, but the vision establishes the strategic requirements. Click on each tab to learn more. Support for flexible business models. The expectation is that service providers will use a wide range of business models to be successful in the digital marketplace. ODA is intended to lead to architectures that support the widest range of business models, rather than be optimized for a particular model. Of particular interest are the traditional CSP business models of today and also platform business models. The ecosystem capable. Closely linked to the goal of supporting flexible business models is the requirement to work in partnership. The TM Forum has studied business architectures for platform business models in the Digital Platform Reference Architecture, or DPRA project, and partnering in general in the B2B2X partnering projects. This previous work has informed the ODA project. The lower cost of operations. Automation is seen as key to long-term reduction in the cost of operating ever more complex networks. ODA informs design choices that will allow automation in the future and ultimately the use of technologies such as artificial intelligence. The multi-vendor interoperability support. The creation of systems assembled from solutions provided by multiple telecommunications industry vendors is well established. A goal of ODA is to further reduce the time and cost of integrating multiple telco vendor solutions, but also extend this to the wider IT ecosystem. For example, the ability to integrate an industry-standard chatbot system to the customer interface rather than a telco-specific chatbot solution. The requirement to integrate with open-source projects is also considered as part of this requirement. The Agile governance. A flexible IT architecture is of limited use if the governance processes that manage changes within it are not themselves equally agile. ODA considers how the architecture can maintain maximum flexibility whilst allowing the organisation to maintain control of key issues, including, for example, security and privacy.